In a world where comics, movies, games, rumors, and Kardashians come at you 24/7, 3 champions will rise to defend you from wasting precious time, money, and emojis. BK, Nate, and Derreck will show you how to do it the player way.
Ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, this is your boy BK. It's on once again, Patron once again, at Play Life Your Way on Instagram, along with my co-captains Derreck,
at Corrupting the System on Instagram,
and Nate.
That's me.
Man, I love the enthusiasm in Nate's voice. I love the enthusiasm in mine and Derreck's voice. And I love that you are back another week. Yes, I'm talking to you, the person that is listening to this. You are back another week for the Play Your Way podcast, the Player Way podcast, that is. And you can catch it at playlifeyourway.com as part of the Play Your Way network. See how we got that marketing jumping off? I know you would. Guys, what have y'all been up to this week?
I haven't been up to much, but I did do one thing, and I watched an older movie called King Arthur, the one with Charlie Hunnam. And
oh man, are we doing moments of silences already at the very beginning of the episode?
No, honestly, I enjoy Guy Ritchie's movies, and this is a very Guy Ritchie movie, even down to the quick talking. Interject that with scenes of what they're talking about, things like that. The fight scenes were cool. People, and this was my problem with it, I don't care about the origin of King Arthur. Give me King Arthur. Give me the Knights of the Round. That's what I want to see. Add in the mysticism. That's what lacked from that one that came out like 10 years ago where they tried to ground it in reality,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the one with Keira Knightley as like Guinevere or something like that?
Yeah, Clive Owen as Arthur. But what was cool is, he had his knights around him. That's what I want to see, I want to see the whole ensemble. And
what I want to see? I want to see King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. I want to see that made into a live action. Do y'all remember that show? Yes. Do y'all remember that show from back in the day? It was like it wasn't King Arthur, because King Arthur had been like either killed or he had been put in like a freezing state, and no one knew what happened to him. And so this portal had opened, and this kid who was a quarterback from high school named Arthur King came through with his whole like starting lineup football team, and they all had like superpowers. Like that King Arthur and the Knights of Justice was my favorite, like one of my favorite cartoons from back in the day, man, for sure.
Do you guys remember the Knights Around, like Super Nintendo side scroller video game?
See, that might have had to do with the same thing. I don't know if I remember that one.
Well, this was, you could be one of 3 characters. You could be Lancelot, Arthur, or Percival. So Percival was a big guy with an axe. Lancelot was like fast, and Arthur was Arthur. Those are standard side scroll. Yeah, it's not a good movie. If it ever comes on Netflix and you're bored, you don't watch it. What sucks? What was interesting is they planned this as a 6-movie franchise. From the beginning, which is why you're dealing with, like, the secret origins of Arthur. That's a little bold. That's like people saying, hey, what's better than 7-minute abs? 6-minute abs. Let's start thinking 6-part franchise, guys.
Oh, my Lord.
Why does that never work? Like, why does that never work? When a studio decides out the gate just with the ambitiousness, it's almost like telling a girl when you first meet her, oh, we're going to get laid tonight. Like, even if it was possible, you just destroyed your chances, like, right then. So, like, to tell an audience, hey, we got 5 more movies for y'all. Y'all better come see this.
It's overconfidence.
Like,
so 5 more, and then this one, and, like, I don't know if I want to go see 5. Like, do I have to see them in order? It's just, there's so much effort involved.
And it also usually says to me, when a studio says that they have that many movies, it usually says that there's such little storyline in the first movie that they saved all of the story that should have been in the first movie. They put it across like 5 other scripts.
Yeah,
it's like let's bring that story in right now. Yeah. So you're saying that this one, what was the thing that killed you about this thing?
You know, it's not as bad as it's not the worst movie ever, and you can definitely see worse. But again, it's the people aren't there to see the secret origins of King Arthur. You know, this orphan boy raised in a brothel. You know.
Oh, so they like made up stuff that was outside of the Alfred Lord Tennyson's poems?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They tried to give
crazy.
him like this weird origin. You know, he still
Born
takes
of
sword
wolves.
from stone. That's about his dad was Uther. They only mention people like Merlin. You see the Lady of the Lake briefly. The sword is called Excalibur, though, so we got that going for it. And it is cool. Like, the sword is powered, and when he finally picks it up, like, he does do some cool stuff. They have like these 300-esque fight scenes with him, and that did look cool. You know, stylistically, it looked cool. Charlie Hunnam isn't a leading man; he works best as an ensemble.
Man, that's
and
crazy.
what's sad is who they pick for the ensemble is, you know, no one really of note. The only guy I actually recognized was Mayor Thomas Carcetti from The Wire. And,
so the Play Your Way podcast grade on this is don't see it.
well, if it's on Netflix and you're bored, you know,
Hey.
You want some noise in the background, right, Nate?
And
Yeah.
and we're gonna get around to what Derek was doing last week, but while we're talking about movies, don't try to watch. I almost forgot. I didn't even tell you guys this in the show notes talk before we started recording, but I actually tried to see. I actually paid to rent on Amazon Prime Ghost in the Shell, and I watched like the first 15-20 minutes, and I quit. I just forfeited the 24-hour hold on the money.
That bad, huh?
And I actually
even Scarlett couldn't carry it.
And
for
this
you?
is from a guy who actually watched the original like anime movie Ghost in the Shell, and then also watched the series Standalone Complex.
that's like almost 20 years old now, isn't it?
It's out. Yeah, I mean, I would say it's not quite. Well, it might be 20. Man, I'm a little older than I realized. I know. I think back in like 03, 04, maybe it was like popular, like it had came out maybe. But yeah, but nah, that's another one. King Arthur and Ghost in the Shell. You can skip that. What you got? What you got, D?
Well,
1995, by the way.
Whoa,
Oh, wow.
22 years?
Sorry.
Oh my.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh my.
As I mentioned,
Please tell me you were channeling Joe Blue. Oh my.
Michael. Oh my. But dang it! Don't give me. All right. As I mentioned last week, I said Todd McFarlane had sparked my interest, and I did finish the season 1 of Spawn, and I've started season 2, and the more and more I watch it, I am so bored with this show. It is so boring to watch. It's not that action-packed. It's just, I'm like, so the idea of them trying to make this movie patterned only after the officers, I'm like, that might make it somewhat better, because I gotta be honest, watching Spawn having these lackluster quote-unquote fights in the same exact dark alley every single episode is so repetitively boring. But anyway, that's not really what I was really up to, because I couldn't go to sleep last night. It was about 1:23 in the morning, current Dallas, Texas time. And I'm just doing my usual on Netflix, the scroll and hoping till you find something. So I just wanted to kind of paraphrase a common phrase of not only am I one of the co-captains of the Player Way podcast, I'm also a member. And I decided to curate my media the Player Way. And I came across a movie that BKU had mentioned. And I hit play on this movie. And I watched all 1 hour and 48 minutes of it. Didn't stop because it was that good of a movie. And it truly told the story of the franchise / real estate giant now known as the McDonald's Corporation. Thank you, BK, for telling me. Yes.
Air horn for this dude.
I watched this last night and I was just like, this guy was the prototypical 50s door-to-door salesman with... And to say vision, I feel like that's not quite giving him credit. this guy saw exactly what the country was going to be doing, and he made it happen literally with his own two hands. He sold the dream to everybody, and he got people on board, and he did his best, sweeping the rug right from under those brothers.
Man.
And he did it, and he said it in the movie, man. Business is war, and it was war. And the brothers didn't have the exact same vision that he did. They wanted to keep it, in essence, their morals and values and everything. However, as he told them, it's bigger than, your name is bigger than what you guys are trying to do here. And it was just a really informative movie. It just brings to light how often this happens behind the scenes, that how many people don't really know. I was recently reading a story about how Warren Buffett really actually acquired Geico. He originally paid very, very little money, and then ended up selling, making a small profit, and then like 35 years later been like, all right, let me write a check for just over $2 billion, and now here that is. So it was just really entertaining. I really appreciate you suggesting that. I believe you have seen it, Nate, as well.
Yeah, no, it's a really good movie.
It's
really interesting too.
Let's get into it.
That
yeah,
how he does is he buys the real estate, that the McDonald's is going to go on. So, and then in turn, McDonald's is like the largest holder of real estate in the world.
It's one of the largest holders of real estate in the world. I didn't even know that until the end of the movie, but it also makes perfect sense.
They essentially really created what franchising as we know it is. Yeah. And what's crazy about it is that this guy didn't set out to steal McDonald's from them. In fact, this guy was super inspired. He goes to the McDonald's to sell them like shake machines. And he doesn't even believe that a company is going to buy as many milkshake machines. They
wanted 6. He couldn't believe it.
And at that time, 6? Yes. And at that period of time, that was like buying several Mercedes-Benzes at one time. So he's like, there's no way, this has got to be a mistake. He goes out there himself, and sure enough, Ray Kroc finds what we know today as McDonald's. Even back then, he gets to see the process. And so these guys, they were about the process and the customer service, which is awesome. That's awesome that was what that was about. And it's what makes McDonald's so great. I tell people all the time, why do people love, in fact, when I bring on new employees, one of the things I teach them about being consistent and being great at your job is you don't have to be excellent. You just have to be consistently good. The reason why people love McDonald's is because it tastes the same no matter what McDonald's you go to. You get the same experience all the time, and if somehow, even down to the milkshake machine always being broken. Like, it's standardized. The experience is standardized no matter where you go. So Ray Kroc realized this, but the McDonald brothers, they weren't into that. Like, they were just like, we just want to keep it small. We've tried franchising all the time. They weren't business people. They were just good at creating processes for food preparation and serving. So, what I love about it is it really shows at that period of time of America, it's a snapshot that the big box stores as we know them weren't really that yet. McDonald's was the first of many to come. It was the first of many to come. And only because he tried to expand and grow this and share this, you see that at least from the perspective of how the story is told, which is always subject, to interpretation. But what Ray Kroc was trying to do is he was trying to share this process with Americans because he knew we would eat it up literally. And the brothers just didn't want to do it. And so they kind of forced his hand. And he said, okay, well, you're going to try to push me out of the company. I'll buy up all the land underneath you. Like, literally I'll buy the stores from up underneath you.
I will buy the land that you have your shop on.
And then created the McDonald's McDonald's,
company, logo?
Land holding.
Branding.
Yeah, the McDonald's land holding company. And like, that's how he did it. And essentially bought even the original McDonald's from the guys, made them move across the street, then put them out of business. That is American capitalism, like, at its core. If you want to learn how business is done in this country, you have to go watch this movie. We talk about, on the Playaway podcast, we talk about all of these different movies and comic adaptations and rumors and sports and stuff. This is one of those things you need to watch just so that you can understand how American business works. Would you agree, guys?
It was exactly how it was. And one of my favorite lines in there is while he was professing to Ron Swanson, while he was professing to him,
yes,
that this is how America is and this is how it's going to be, I assure you. And he retorts with, I'll have you know I'm a card-carrying Republican. He's like, well, good for you. You're obviously not that much of one because I'm coming up with a billion dollar idea in which he worked it up to where literally people were giving him checks. He had the owner of a nice restaurant wanting to open up a small fast food hamburger stand. Patrick
then he took his wife.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Everything
Patrick
about
Wilson.
this. Patrick Wilson. Everything about this guy. He was the prototypical a-hole that nobody likes, but that we all need to succeed. He came up with the idea with no support from his wife, so that scene when he was like, no, she's not getting even 0.1% of this because I came home. She was like, oh yeah, another revolutionary idea, huh? Bitch, if you don't get your... Take this, Laura Dern, get back to dinosaur poop because you have no place in this movie. If you don't get your... But he was ruthless. He's intelligent, charismatic. It's just incredible, especially at the time of the 50s. The 50s, this guy drove from Missouri to San Bernardino with this idea and all over and everywhere in between. Like this was just
and everywhere in between. I love how you threw that in there.
And it's just a really great movie. So the second I saw it, my synapses fired to that memory where you said Derreck watched The Founder. I couldn't remember specifically if Nate said it because Corbin Dallas and whatnot. And then I watch it, and like I said, I couldn't stop it. I'm like, I don't care that it's 3:26 in the morning right now. I need to know the rest of this, obviously.
He needs to know.
And that scene where he's just in front of the mirror, and then Maria Bello steps right back up next to him, and we're in Beverly Hills. I was like, and all is right in the world. And this is why they should have never gave you any money.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I don't think that was Maria Bello, man.
Oh, it wasn't? I thought that was. You sure?
The wife, his new wife.
Yeah, that wasn't her.
No, all I know is that was the girl from Grandma's Boy, Linda Cardinelli from like Freaks and Geeks. She was Hawkeye's wife.
Yes, that is correct. She was Hawkeye's wife.
They look alike to me, so that's why I said it.
I can't now. I need to know her name.
Linda Cardinelli.
Yeah. Is it Linda Cardinelli?
Linda Cardellini? Anyway, she looks like Maria Bello to me. Are they long lost sisters or something?
Something must be. So, Derreck, I think somewhere in there you were asking me how my week
I was asking what have you been up to?
But before we get into how my week was, let's give you a quick rundown of what the Play Your Way podcast is via a look at the week of the Play Your Way network. Taking a look at the Play Your Way network at playlifeyourway.com. Obviously, as Derreck would say, you're going to have the upcoming podcast, episode 16, which is what we're on right now.
Sweet 16.
Absolutely. Derreck, you got the website up over there?
Yes, sir. Episode
you want to take it from
16
me?
Will be up there. We have a couple film reviews. I don't know if we want to put a pin in those for our box office hustle later, but we can still go over the format. We have our excellent writers, Alex Maldonado, who keeps turning out that material. Ian Townsend running out the box office hustle. We have a good rumor rundown as well, but we'll also put a pin in that for specifically for Nate later on. And honestly, everything that's on here, this has been a lot that's been going on. And what you see here on the website is what you're about to hear on this podcast, because there's a lot of mess going on out there in the world right now, ain't there, BK?
Absolutely. If you are the type of person who works 40 to 60 hours every single week, this is the podcast for you. If you want to know how to keep up with your media,
The Player Way.
Absolutely. And if you want to learn how to exactly have that water cooler talk, if you want to stay up on the latest and greatest, whether it be the newest television show, the newest trade information in the NFL, the greatest knockout of the weekend in MMA, or if you just want to see what the size of the Kardashians' bootums is, you can just go on to playlifeyourway.com. If it's interesting, we're giving it a rundown. And if it's not interesting, it ain't.
The Player Way.
That's what the podcast is for. So let's get it started with my week. So with my week, and it kind of is going to go into, I kind of had a love fest for HBO this week. So we're going to kind of lead into the meat of the show with how my week went. Kind of working back.
So you're just gonna slide that on in there.
Hey, we're just gonna slide that in there. We're just gonna backload it in there. Is that right?
Love fest. I'm just saying, you had a love fest. We're just gonna go ahead and slide that on in there and get that started.
Absolutely.
Open things up,
something
right?
Like, absolutely. Hey, open it up. Exactly. You know, you can't just slide it in there without lubrication. You know what I'm saying? You gotta hit it in there the right way.
I mean, you can sometimes because. You know what? That's going to be technical. Just don't do. And last week you hit me with the don't hit me with the technical, and then.
Hey, we had to, man. You know how you do. You know you be strategically corrupting the system on a week to week basis. You know you can't just ram that in there on our viewers. You gotta foreplay it with them. You gotta get the juices flowing before you throw that.
I gotta warm them up before I just go corrupt the system.
Hey, man, you can't be selfish. You can't just go roughshod up into it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying the comedian had a...
And we're back from the technical difficulty. Already, Derek? Already?
It wasn't that bad. We're, a little under a third of the way through?
I'm telling you. Nate, you got a disclaimer for us, bro?
Yeah. Here at the Playerway Podcast, we don't condone jokes about rape, whether real life or in fictitious form. And,
yes,
rape's bad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Obviously, as we said, you have to properly get the audience ready for what when you're about to give them the business. So let's get down to business real quick, and enough of the riff-raff. So shout out to Riff Raff, Peach Panther though. Go get that album. Anyway, so what's going on with my week is I kind of had a love fest with HBO, kind of working my way backward. My wife had actually never watched Sopranos all the way from the start to finish all the way through. She kind of has a short attention span when it comes to stuff that's super cerebral in terms of series. She's more of a Kimmy Schmidt type of person. She loves comedies. She loves some dramas too, like Breaking Bad. She's the one that got me onto that. But like Sopranos, it's a little different vibe. Very masculine and
Did she watch Sons of Anarchy by any chance?
She loved that too. She loved SOA as well. I think because Charlie Hunnam is cute. But he is
a handsome man. I mean, he's not a leading actor, but he is a handsome man.
Well, yeah, James
he works better in an ensemble.
Exactly. James Gandolfini is not as good looking. All the guys who were like
gabagool.
You got to get the gabagool.
That motherfucker.
Nate did. Yes, Nate. I was about to say, yo, can you give us that good one? That's it. That is totally him. You want a Toblerone? Gonna eat those Toblerone. Get a 7 and 7.
It's the shoelace, dog. The shoelaces. It's the most bacteria on the shoelaces. You gotta tie your shoelaces so when you go to the bathroom, you gotta tie them. It's the shoelace.
Hey!
When I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
They pull me back in. So many potent potables.
Shout out to Polly Walnuts.
Exactly. In fact, and I have to give, Derek always gives me props for getting him on a certain anime series. Derek is the one who got me on Sopranos, and this is back. He got me on Sopranos back when you still had to mail DVDs back and forth to Netflix. So he was like, "Yo, you got to get this series. You got to watch it." And when you finally do, order yourself a 7 and 7. And at that time, I didn't know anything about Seagram's and 7-Up at the time, so I didn't know. And 7 and 7 actually became one of my trademark drinks later on down the line. So shout out to Derek for helping me understand how to curate media.
The player way.
Yeah, that's right. Early and often. Take that.
Well, so did she like it?
Oh, dude. Not only she had seen most of the series, so this time this is my third watch through of the series. So she was like, "All right, this time I'm gonna do it." So like we've actually been working on this watch through, this rewatch for like probably over a month. Yeah. Because like I said, she got to a point where she got disinterested, and I had to wait for her. And so finally, like Saturday night,
right,
I was
can we just put a pin? No, that's like the worst when you're watching a series that is amazing with your significant other, and for whatever reason you've paused and it's been 7 weeks, and you're like, why can't we get back to watching Naruto?
Exactly.
He just found the 3 tails. Surely you're interested in what happens after this, right?
Exactly.
No. We're good. We'll just take
exactly.
significant. Anyway.
Exactly. So that's exactly where I was at. So finally, I told her Saturday night, I said, we're watching this series right now on Comedy and Television. If you want to watch this will be on. If not, I'm going to watch all the way to the last episode. And that's what got her attention. No, you're not going to watch the last episode. So we finally watched the last episode today before we went out to do groceries and everything. And the ending of the series... I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, because this is one of those times we don't want to ruin it for anybody.
Yes, TV series are exempt
She
from ruining
was pissed. She was so mad. She was like, what? That's it? That's it? What happens? It was like, she was so mad. And like, I love that. Like, this is my third time watching through this series, and I still have the same feeling of like, if you have not rewatched The Sopranos, if you're listening to this, my co-captains, go back and rewatch it for at least a third time. Because that last season and even before that, you see so many hints as to what's going. They tell you throughout the series, like even down to the dream. Remember, Tony has the dream with it was like the strangest dream he had in the whole series.
Dream.
Where he is losing teeth in the restaurant. Mm-hmm. Yep. That directly goes to what happens to Coco in the last season, to where he picks like the tooth out of his cuff of his pants. He does something just like that earlier in the series, so it tells you what is the thing that he does that is his ultimate. Exactly. Mm-hmm. So it's I love that. So shout out to HBO for continuing to have these series up on an unlimited basis. HBO Go, if you don't have it, if you love HBO series. Netflix and all of these other Hulu, Amazon Prime, they curate their media and kind of disable things based on licenses. But because HBO owns all their licenses, this stuff is up there in perpetuity. You can always see this stuff. Obviously, some of the movies.
You can go watch Flight of the Conchords, like all those things.
You go back and watch The Wire, like me and Nate used to talk about all the time.
I'll say one thing. There's the one show that was on HBO. Do y'all remember The Life and Times of Tim's? Is the animated
I don't know. We'll get back to that in a second. But I just want Nate on the Wire. Give me one of them. Give it to me. Oh, he gave me a super
best one.
Because The Wire is that good. When you walk through the door, you gotta keep the devil way down in the hole. I love that. Shit. I said shit.
Yeah, anyway, Sopranos and Oz were the first HBO series I've ever watched, which made me love HBO. And then The Wire was third. And God damn it, I love The Wire. The Wire to this day is still one of my favorite shows. I watch it yearly. It's just so good.
Derek, what about Adebisi though?
Bro, when I used to watch this TV series with my mother, I realized that I never, ever in my life will ever do any sort of action that will land me in a federal prison in my entire life because of Adebisi's character. Because of what he did to the mob's son in the kitchen. Which is what the comedian was about to do to...
He's not the mayhem guy from the Nationwide cover. He was Ryan O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Scheming motherfucker.
Man. That's a great series too. That's always that has some good replayability.
It is, but I think like if you haven't seen it already and if you're getting into it right now, it doesn't age well as Sopranos or The Wire does.
Because it's
Oz is hard. Yeah. Oz is definitely hard to go back and watch for sure. It's very similar to 24. 24 is another one of those series you can't go back and watch because 24 came out before 9/11. So like when you see how the world was pre 9/11, you don't buy any of the stuff that's happening in the series because we are so much more informed of how security and Homeland Security actually works. That we're like, oh yeah, they would have never been able to do that. But anyway,
because the
getting back over to
what they were going to do.
Exactly,
they would have told Jack Bauer about it. George Bush.
We're getting back over. It's so stupid Shout out to Kanye West, man.
Shout out to Mike Myers for keeping his expletive together after he hit him with that. Actually, shout out. I give so much respect to look at the camera of. Back to you.
Okay, and back to you.
You guys gonna graduate? That was his face.
Oh God, gonna graduate.
Man, HBO has a ton of good series, right, BK?
Yeah, getting back over to HBO. Thank you, my associate producer Derreck, for keeping us on point for sure. But getting back to our Love Fest, before I was finishing out The Sopranos, I realized that there was a series that I had not even gotten onto yet, and it was called Insecure, starring Issa Rae. Have either of you guys seen that series, Insecure?
No.
I have not, actually, but I've only just recently started hearing about it, and I know you were one of the ones that just recently mentioned it to me.
Yeah, man. Insecure is one of those, it's a 30-minute comedy series. I think it comes on the same night as Ballers now, but the reason why I don't know what night it comes on is because I've been watching it. I watched season 1 just through the HBO GO app, and then the first 2 episodes of season 2 I watched through the app as well. But
they come on Sundays. They come on Sundays.
Oh, that's what's up. So I gotta give a shout out to my wife, Rachel. She's actually the person who got me on this because somebody at work said, "Oh, you have to watch this show because I need someone to talk to about it." And that's kind of been the thing, is it's been something that's kind of been on the low, kind of like Black Twitter, that it's on a growing thing, on a growing kind of trend. But it is definitely known to the Golden Globe Awards because it was a 2017 nominee for Best Performance by an Actress in a Television Series or Comedy, from Issa Rae. So Issa Rae is an incredibly great actress. If you're a fan of Atlanta, that series Atlanta that's on FX. If you love, what's another great series? Veep. If you like Veep. If you like...
also on HBO?
Yeah, if you like Parks and Recreation. If you like... trying to think of different types of quirky comedy series. Oh, Girls. If y'all have ever seen Girls on HBO. The problem I had with Girls on HBO is it was a little pretentious for my taste. So, like, I didn't quite feel bad for the girls in that show when I watched. To me, I didn't feel like it gave a 360 view of what it was like to be a girl in all aspects of reality, socioeconomic status, what have you. Insecure, I think, does a much better job about it, and if it doesn't at least give you a 360, at least gives you what the other half lives like. It does take place in Los Angeles, California, and it's centered around a bunch of young black people, in particular 2 females that kind of are coming out of their youth and trying to figure out how to settle down and put away their kind of frivolousness when it comes to relationships. One of the females is kind of putting away her hoe card, and the other female is kind of trying to decide if she wants to be serious with this guy who hasn't quite turned himself into the guy that he said he would. He's a bit of a dreamer. He doesn't really have his career together. He's working at Best Buy, and she's kind of deciding whether or not she's going to go with an ex. He's kind of secretly doing the same thing. And on the surface, it seems like something guys wouldn't be into, but they tell a good story from the guy's perspective too. So like Issa Rae's character's boyfriend is this guy who graduated from college, has a degree, but can't seem to get any really good jobs other than working at Best Buy. He's a technical guy. He reminds me a lot of Darius.
That's a huge demographic, so a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, shout out to Darius, by the way. He reminds me of like what Darius has as a degree, like, and what he kind of brings to the table to a company. And through the first season, he kind of, I don't want to spoil for anybody, but he makes a transition and he kind of becomes that person, but because of Issa Rae's character not deciding what she wants to do, certain things happen. So it's very quirky, very smart comedy.
Do some friends become enemies? Some enemies become friends?
Little frenemies.
Everyone's richer in the end for their experience?
Absolutely. A little friends and enemies, a little bit of quirky comedy today. So you like a little bit of sex, drugs, rock and roll a little bit, don't you? Yeah, so it's got...
So beginning, middle, and end?
Yep. Yes, there you go. He called me. So that's exactly what it is. It's a very smart comedy. Look, if you're one of those people who are saying, listen, there's not enough black-inspired media out there, if you're a person that says we need something that's different from the average story that we tell when it comes to romantic comedy, this is a great approachable show for you. And guys, I know we got a lot of guys who listen to the show. You will not lose your man card if you watch the show. You will learn something.
That's a huge step for HBO to have that kind of...
Bitch, what?
Absolutely. And if you ever wanted to learn how to get a taste of that brown sugar, this will get you.
That's a great step.
This will get you there.
HBO to have that kind of series out there, especially in this day and age.
It is.
You know, we always know what color's still a hot topic always. So for HBO to have this is a good.
Yeah, exactly, Derek. I'm glad you said that. Especially for HBO, where we just talked about Oz and we talked about The Wire. Previous series have been heavy on the suppression and the disenfranchisement of black people. Before, even if you watch like Boardwalk Empire or Sopranos, the representation of black people in those shows greatly suppress a lot of understanding what America is like at that snapshot in time, and as a result, there's a lot of racism built into it, which is okay because it's fodder for telling the story. But it's one of those things where this show really kind of gives you that good feeling when you watch it, and it's I think it's a little bit better than Atlanta on FX because it's on HBO. They can go places that Donald Glover can't go. That Donald Glover can't go. I mean, they go pretty far on Atlanta, but I feel like this series is what Donald Glover was trying to accomplish.
Gotcha.
So really good.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
That's awesome that they're doing that. I mean, I guess sounds like they're staying right in line with their usual, try to hit it, make a mark on it. Do you think they're trying to make a statement with keeping this type of series in? What do you think? All right.
I think you just should see it. Once you see it, you'll get it. And it's just good, man. It's just a really smart comedy. Like, someone of your intelligence would appreciate the series. You'd be like, yes! That is exactly happens when you first meet a girl and you're trying to do this and that. Like, it's like, even down to like when you break up with a female, like what that is like. Like, what it's like to like still have to live with this person. Like, in most series, when you break up with somebody, like, it's just a clean break, and the next episode, y'all are going about your life. But, like, you still have mail coming to that person's house. You still got your toothbrush there. You still got clothes there. Like, what is that like? It's not a clean break. It's very dirty. So, yeah, I'm telling you, man, I don't want to go too much more on this show because for as much as I am bragging about this, on the other side of things, you got Confederate. And have you guys heard about Confederate?
Yeah, we had some talks about it, and we talked about a pre-show, and I remember I was saying, I'm like, this reminds me of something that I've heard of before. Do you remember me saying that? I found what I was talking about earlier.
Go ahead.
There was a British documentary, and the film just took a satire look at the history of an America where the South had won the Civil War. This came out back in 2004. Yes.
I remember that now.
Yes,
Wasn't that like
Confederate
on History
States
Channel
of America.
or something?
That's what it was called.
Wasn't that on History or something like that?
Yes, yeah. It was actually just released.
Yes.
It was just documentary.
That's what I thought.
Like,
awesome.
no major actors, anything like that. Like,
yeah.
There was a character in that called Blackface Abraham Lincoln. Just to let you know.
Just to let you know what the business is.
And that was back in 2004. So
for as much as I said about how great HBO is, I told you this has been a love fest so far. Well, not everybody feels the same way about HBO because, like I said, on the other side of things, you got Confederate. And if you are not aware, just go on Twitter and look for a hashtag #NoConfederate. There has been this big response because the showrunners behind Game of Thrones, who they can do no wrong right now, which we'll put a pin in that, just like Derek said, for later in this Love Fest on HBO. They have gone public saying that they are coming forward with a series called Confederate. And what it's about is an alternate universe where the United States Union lost the Civil War, and thus the South successfully seceded from the Union. And so imagine now where I'm living right now in Atlanta, I'd be a slave right now. And therefore, that's what the series is about. Slavery is still a very real thing. You still got the Underground Railroad and things like that. You still have the Union that's trying to help fix things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And to the point where they even talked about there would be a wall between... Yes, exactly.
Jeez.
So, and we all know about building that wall.
Yeah.
So
that was going to be done in the first month. In the first month.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Dato. Anyway. But what the reason why this has caused a lot of problems is because the showrunners of Game of Thrones are white guys. And so it's like, so how are you going to, Black Twitter has been like, how are you going to create a series about slavery when no black people are involved in it? And HBO came forward and said, listen, maybe we came a little prematurely with the news on this thing. Yeah, you got that? Yeah, you got that? You hear what I said there? You know what I said? Anyway.
They just wanted to get that one out the way so they could get to work.
You are watching a master at work.
I'm trying to like come back with a
hashtag corrupting the system.
But you told me you won that one. You won that one, dude. Like normally we would go back and forth with this, but you totally take that one. But yeah, I mean, it's been a huge deal to the point where Amazon capitalized on all the bad press and said, hey, we got a show coming out soon too. And this show is called Black America. And what Black America is about is it's also an alternate reality, and it is penned by Aaron McGruder and Will Packer. And Aaron McGruder is more well known for the Boondocks, and I believe Will Packer is the guy behind what's the name of that movie? Oh, he's behind Girls Trip, Straight Outta Compton, and Ride Along. Yeah, I'm looking at Variety.com right now. Amazon Slavery Reparations series Black America with Will Packer and Aaron McGruder. So you can go on Variety.com to take a look at that to give its proper credit. By Joe Otterson.
Do you think... I have a question for you, BK.
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may ask you. Now, there's backlash over the HBO series Confederate because, in essence, two white guys making a series about it. I can understand that. And is there any backlash? Blacklash? I didn't even mean to say that! Oh,
nice.
Yes. An accidental puntastic. Is there any backlash for the Amazon series at all?
Well, no, I mean, it won't, there's not any backlash, but there is some blacklash. Okay. Because essentially those two guys I just mentioned, Will Packer and Aaron McGruder, are super well known for producing series centered around the plight of black people. I mean, all you got to say is the guy behind Boondocks and Girls Trip. I mean, there you go.
Huey.
Exactly.
Speaketh the truth.
So essentially, this is a series about an alternate universe where black people successfully uprose and overthrew slavery and then took over, commandeered America for themselves. And so there's a possibility that white people are going to be in slavery in this series. So it's weird because you got these two series that are very much addressing controversy that people are talking about. Hashtag stay woke, hashtag Black Lives Matter, hashtag all lives matter, hashtag build the wall, hashtag drain the swamp, hashtag too many hashtags.
Dude, I mean, so we have some black guys making a show where they might have some white slaves, and we have some white guys making a show where they're going to have black slaves.
I mean, we've already talked about Amazon being the company that's putting other companies out of business.
Dude.
Man. This is going to be one of those, when you get the water cooler talk, people are going to be like, what show you watching?
Right?
I'm watching The Confederate. It's actually a pretty good show on HBO.
It's very informative. I really like how they're presenting the story. There's lots of changes that could have been made. I see.
I never noticed how much I like the Confederate flag. I like the look of it. The colors all kind of blend together.
That Bo and Luke Duke were onto something. It's kind of neat to have it on your car. That's a neat little horn as well.
So we'll definitely be this civil war between HBO and Amazon. We will all be awaiting with bated breath about this series. So definitely looking for that. And then the final thing that I have in this rundown is for the leaks And Derreck just basically buzzed that over to me. Got the leaks. GOT. G little OT. Get that?
Man, there's so much love fest with HBO you got, but I feel like you have all aspects of love going on here. You love The Sopranos. We got this business for Confederate, and then now HBO's leaking stuff out there, man. What kind of relationship we got going on over here?
Hey, man, I mean, hopefully they won't pull out, man, but I mean, at least they got it leaking. You know?
That's how you get pregnant.
I don't think anybody left a warm washcloth when they stole those Game of Thrones scripts.
Hey, man, as long as you don't roll over into the wet spot, man.
No, you're sleeping in it. No, you. I didn't shit all over the bed. It wasn't me.
Man, we are getting... Listen, and I love that we are taking the language to the next level because we're talking about HBO, and when you were a little kid, you wanted to stay up late past like 12 o'clock at night watch HBO, man. Man,
I was such a nerd that when I played Euphonium in middle school, I taught myself the HBO theme by ear just so I could play it, to hear it, because I never was going to hear it on HBO. Yes! And that little flyby, man, that was the business.
I'm telling you, man.
What happened with this leak, dude?
Man,
like,
essentially, episode 4 of Game of Thrones went public, man. If you were one of the lucky people... It didn't come on till this past Sunday, but it leaked out earlier in the week. So yeah, absolutely. And then news came out later in the weekend that episodes 5, 6, and 7 also were leaked as well. So yeah, I mean, for a show that's big on people telling no spoilers online, I mean, if you are a person that got to see this show early, you could ruin everybody's night.
Christmas.
I'm telling you, dude. So, yeah, I mean, HBO's got to lace up, man, because we started off this conversation at the very beginning talking about how awesome these past series were. Then we went to the future to talk about some of the cautionary tales they got coming up. And now in the present, they're slowly losing control of the leaks and all of that stuff. So,
take control of your city.
If you take control of your shooter.
The people of Gotham.
And we give it back to you. The people. That's what the person said who leaked it. And I give it back to you.
Yes.
The people.
I want him to do that in a Bane voice, but with an anonymous mask. That's what I want that to happen.
Yes, dude. I want somebody to go online and reveal themselves that Bane, that the League. Yes. What is the name of the group? The League of Shadows?
League
of
Shadows.
Yeah, the League of Shadows is behind the HBO league, dude. Conspiracy.
But what if it's a conspiracy? Conspiracy.
It's to the uninitiated.
Conspiracy. The League of Shadows is behind the HBO leak. It's going to come out that the League of Shadows, that Bane himself was behind this the whole time. I'm not going to be satisfied until we see a video online of, hello HBO,
I am here to complete Ra's al Ghul's destiny.
Uh-oh. Yes, it looks like a blue snowball microphone.
This may need to be a player way, Bane, Dato.
I'm telling you, dude.
Need to come out this week.
I'm telling you, dude. Like, I would love for Bane to come out and just be like, we're holding all of the internet's hostage
yes.
until
our demands.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. One among you has the episode.
One among
you. And it comes out that the actress that plays Khaleesi is the one that had the episodes the whole time. So the guy that plays John Stark or whatever that dude's name is. Jon Snow, yeah, he turns around and sees the actress Khaleesi has the remote control. She has like a little Roku remote control the whole time.
Well, first he has to escape from this prison that's in the middle of, I don't know, Tibet.
And Christian Bale as an old man is down there in the bottom. There was
once a man that You know?
Exactly.
Yes.
Christian Bale is down there as Bruce Wayne. It's like, there was once a man that escaped.
Yeah. But let's not forget the 4K curved LED screen that he'll have down there with him.
Exactly.
Yes.
They could actually see the countdown to the episodes coming.
Yeah.
Man. So anyway,
I heard if
that's
you
what my
escape this
week.
prison, there's a jet waiting up top to take you back to Gotham. just real quick. You'll make it there. But
Man. So, long story short, if you are listening to this podcast and you don't have HBO, we got some tips for you. You could order HBO. Xfinity actually has a deal right now to where if you sign up for basic cable services and internet, you can get HBO pretty much free for an entire year. Or you can go on Sling TV right now and you can add HBO. I believe it's like only $15 to add it to your program, to your plan rather. So there are ways to get HBO Go, or you can just holler at your best friend and say, hey, let me holler at you. Let me get your password for a little bit and let me get some of that goodness, because right now HBO, no publicity is bad publicity. Obviously the fingers on the pulse is at HBO. HBO be winning. Hashtag HBO be winning. So, that's all we got on what was going on in my week. Woo! Whew, I need a glass of water! What else we got, D?
well, as we mentioned last week, the NFL kicked off on Thursday with the Dallas Cowboys playing the Arizona Cardinals. They got down early, 15-0, but the Cowboys went ahead and put up 17 unanswered points to...
Hey, hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
did I just run in there? I just ran in there. I'm sorry.
Did you just run down the sports without the sports rundown drop? Yes, it's time for the sports rundown, brought to you by the Play Away Podcast. Take it away, gentlemen.
It's time.
All right, that's right. It's time for the sports rundown.
It's time for the sports rundown.
That's right. We're back for the sports rundown. D, give it to us.
My Cowboys...
Give us the D.
Well, the big D, DC, not like the DC that went down last week. They got down behind the Cardinals, but they weren't done there. They went ahead and put up 17 unanswered points. Got to see some of this new talent that the Cowboys have been curating throughout the offseason. And they went ahead and won the game 20-18. Which was definitely to the delight of their president, GM, and owner, Jerry Jones. Why would this be important to him? Because this weekend he was inducted into the Football Hall of Fame. He is in those hallowed halls up in Canton, Ohio. He even threw a $16 million party. He kept every single Cowboy that is on the roster there through the weekend.
Dude, I heard about this party, dude.
Man.
I heard about this party. I heard it was like, didn't you say 16 million?
Yeah, $16 million. And he also paid for the whole team to stay there.
16 million? You think I'm crazy?
Yeah, dude.
I'm crazy? I'm insane.
That was nuts, man. He had the longest speech of the night, 37 minutes. But as a lifetime Cowboy fan, what made me really happy to see, before I go on to who else was inducted, just to give them their respects as well, he thanked Jimmy Johnson. And as a Cowboy fan, ever since he let Jimmy Johnson go, and we've all been mad at Jimmy ever since, to see him stand up there and specifically tell Jimmy, thank you for helping me make this trade with giving the Vikings Herschel Walker that gave us like 7 draft picks, which turned into Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman.
America's team was born.
Yes, it was. It turned into... It was rejuvenated, I'll at least say that. It turned into 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. After that third year when they lost to the 49ers, they went out to go get primetime, so they go ahead and get that number 3 Super Bowls.
I think, now let's talk about that for a second, because I believe that while the Dallas Cowboys was an amazing team, definitely give a shout out to Tom Landry, because Tom Landry, most of us are wearing cowboy hats and things like that, certain types of hats because of this man. Okay, so no disrespect to Tom Landry. No disrespect to Herschel Walker, okay? But America's team, man, it was born with that Emmett, with that Troy Aikman, man, with that, I'm telling you, man.
He put him on the map. He put him. I'm not sure if everybody realizes that Jerry Jones paid $150 million for the Cowboys in the 80s, and they are worth over $4 billion, with a B as in Bravo, dollars today. The most valued sports franchise.
Hold on. You got to say that the right way. You got to say it like Dr. Evil when you say that.
$4.2 billion. Bum,
bum, bum.
And Jerry is a driven man. Back at age 23, he put in a bid to buy the San Diego Chargers. And when he was up to his eyeballs in debt and credit, but he didn't have any credit, so that's why he had all the debt. And he almost owned the Chargers, but it fell through. And then, boom, lo and behold, oil money, Jimmy Johnson, this, that, and the other, toupees, and Sky Mirror, and all sorts of stuff later. Here we are. 20 years removed from them winning, 22 years removed from them winning a Super Bowl, and he's still making millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Hey, it must be the money.
It must be
the money. Must be the money.
It is.
What you know about that? Prime time must be the money. Number one single in the country.
Boy. Man, it was Hotlanta because of Deion Sanders, man. Number 21 came to A-Town.
Bro, look, if anybody says that, if anyone says that Willie Beeman was not inspired by Deion Sanders, you're fucking insane. You don't know what you're talking about. Because Must Be the Money with Deion Sanders, that was Willie Beeman. I keep him Steven.
Dude, the other inductees, not to leave them out, we had, of course, Kenny Easley. He took his time to really focus on family. He actually talked about Black Lives Matter. Jason Taylor. Jimmy actually helped him reveal his busts because Jimmy did coach him for a couple seasons. Morton Anderson went in. And shout out to Ian Townsend for Terrell Davis going in. And I also respect Terrell Davis. His career was cut short to those knee injuries. And then the other LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. I still don't know if he knows how to speak English correctly, but he is in the Football Hall of Fame. So, congratulations to that LT.
I love my mama. I love my mama.
I just died. You just killed me because he did it for his mother. But that was really exciting, especially as a Cowboy fan, to see them kick off the NFL season the right way, win a preseason game that doesn't matter in any way, shape, or form other than the people that are trying to make the team. But it did wrap up with Kurt Warner, and who is a great story to go from bagging groceries to a Super Bowl MVP, and now he's actually in the Hall of Fame. So that was also a really nice thing to round out the Hall of Fame weekend there. And running right into another sports headline. Now, when I say headline, I'm only saying a headline because it's EA Sports. It's in the game.
It's in the game. Exactly.
EA. They are doing something completely
give me a clean drop on that. Give me a good one on that.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
There you go. I like it.
They are doing something that they've never done before for the NBA Live 18. And when I read this headline, I was immediately reminded of a Family Guy episode in which they discuss how the WNBA commands $7,000 a year. And is all that talent worth being so unattractive? I don't know. That's for the fan to decide. But all jokes aside, they are adding the entire WNBA roster to NBA Live 18 for the first time ever. I watched the promo video, and there were so many layups and outside shots. It was exactly why no one watches that. So that's not even a story. So that's neat for them. I'm sure people who watch like the Spark, I assume, or Hornet, maybe whoever's out that. But yeah, and that was that. So it still is for the fans.
And that's the way it was. Yeah, and
boom goes the dynamite.
And speaking of mixed gender issues, this goes into the sports rundown as well. This week, I guess it's last week, Master P was announced the new president of Global Mixed Gender Basketball League. Apparently, it's a new basketball league, while Ice Cube has got this 3-on-3 type of basketball league coming out.
Yeah,
another type of basketball.
NBA players.
Yeah, another basketball league called the Global Mixed Gender Basketball League is coming out, where they're going after people like Lisa Leslie, going after Shaq, going after LeVar Ball to finally go against Shaq. But it's a place where they can actually get men and women on the same court. This is a serious thing. This guy, Master P, if you don't already know, Percy Miller, who has earned millions of dollars through his no limit record label, rather. Exactly. No, it's more like, well, what's the one? Say, nah. Boy, back in the day in Dallas, Texas, boy, if you was on the bus going to and from home, middle school, let me make it say,
That's right.
Nah. Oh, man, to the point where my sister actually once went to a anti-drug rally, and the people, shout out to Bree Unstoppable, she talked about how they said, like, the people who were leading the pep rally were like, let's make them say, the drugs are bad. I'm telling you, like, everybody was into that, man. So he's trying to, he actually has a quote. You can actually go on allhiphop.com and take a look at the article by Mike Winslow, and he basically has a quote from Master P saying, I am happy to have accepted this appointment. People who have followed my career are aware of my love for the game and my competitive spirit in my various business undertakings. I find this new role as a challenge, but I have no problem getting thoroughly involved in this business endeavor. So definitely an avid basketball fan. Master P actually once tried out for the Charlotte Hornets and actually got pretty far in it. So
sounds like he's gonna wobble and shake it.
Hey, man, that's what we're going to do, because we're going to be watching females playing along with males, and there's definitely going to be some wobbling, shake it. Drop it.
Shout out to the 504 boys.
Oh, he dropped the bomb on this boy. I'm telling you, boy, like.
Let me see you wobble and shake it.
Where you think Nate is this dude who is just out in L.A. living that Cali life.
The silent assassin over here.
Absolutely. No disrespect to Ian, but this silent assassin on this podcast is your boy, Nate Diesel. He hit us with that 504, boys.
You know, that late 90s era is when I started to get into hip-hop music, and it started with like the No Limit Records. I don't know if you guys remember their album covers would be like
with the big tank, man.
Holographic.
They were the one that started that. Look, nobody was talking about having the
504.
piece and chain, dude. The big piece and chains, like with the big tank on there. I'm telling you, man, there was nothing like it, man.
Yeah, Master P sitting on top of a tank, I believe, was one of his album covers.
I'm telling you, dude. Willed, a lot of people don't give Master P credit for being the businessman that he is, but obviously to be a president of a new basketball league, who knows if it'll be any good. Just like the 3-on-3 basketball league that took off from Ice Cube, the key is getting someone like Allen Iverson, like he did, in. Once you get a couple of big retired stars
if only Allen Iverson would have actually showed up to the games, though.
I'm telling you, man.
Practice.
We're talking about practice. Talking about practice, man. This is what we talking about, practice. I kind of went into the playoffs for a second. Playoffs?
Well, they did both, because he did the same thing. And I think people didn't have respect for Master P because they were like, this man's a gangster? His real name's Percy.
Exactly. His real name's Clarence. And Clarence's parents have a real good marriage.
Falcon lives at home with both parents.
Exactly. What else we got, D?
After that, we... after that.
Yes!
You know the same time, yeah. We can let's see. Time-wise, we're kind of pressing it, but we're gonna have to make a decision. Either we're gonna jump in box office hustle, or you know what? What am I talking about? I think
do it live.
Yes, right. Let's do it.
So let's get on with the box office hustle. You want to do that, D?
Yeah, let's do that.
Quiet on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Yes, can I have your attention, please? Box office hustle.
All right, it's time for the box office hustle.
All right, cut and print. Beautiful guys.
Exact voice every time.
Every time.
Well, this week had two fairly well, I'm going to talk about Detroit first. It had a limited release last week, and it had its wide release this week. Not doing great in the box office, but this is a very strong movie to watch.
A strong film, if you will.
Yes, a very strong film. Great. You have a nice review by Alex Maldonado on the Playerway network as well. But Dark Tower, it was projected to be the biggest movie this week, and it is, but much to the chagrin of every person who's ever read anything Dark Tower / Stephen King related. And honestly, whenever it comes to theatrical adventures that have to do with Stephen King, I just still always think made-for-TV movies. Like, that's just what I expect. Made-for-TV movies or a series.
Yeah, for Stephen King, for sure.
We all
Absolutely
three agree that Dark Tower should have been like an HBO series. There's no
Well,
way.
To be fair, there have been some good Stephen King film adaptations. The Green Mile.
Yes.
True.
That's the thing.
Shawshank Redemption.
Those are the ones that stick, though. It's never gonna be his horror or sci-fi ones ever.
Yes.
Andy.
It is going like the movie. It is going to be the strongest one probably. Since,
well, and I agree. Listen, and I agree. I think Derreck is onto something. I think the heyday, the day of hay, which was a Tuesday, by the way, I just may play all day. The player way.
The play.
Oh my God! But yeah, back when Stephen King was really popping, he was on the tip of everyone's tongue, was when ABC and CBS were doing his mini-series, multi-night events. You know what I'm saying? Remember, like, Storm of the Century, The Langoliers, all of these hurt bombs that we remember. Pet Sematary was great, too, but, like, when
it was an average
Stephen King
80s
was doing
horror
his best.
movie. That was an average 80s horror movie.
Yeah, but, like, when Daniel Steele had, like, movie adaptations on television.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like that was it. And I think I think Stephen King's estate missed an opportunity. Whoever his handlers are, I don't know if he still controls everything, who has the licenses, the rights. I think they really should have gone toward FX, toward Ryan Murphy to make some sort of American Horror Story adaptation toward his stuff. Like, I think they could have really done something really great. I think the first adaptation for a Stephen King thing could have been, like I said, I'm going to repeat what I just said. Go toward FX. Say, hey, Ryan Murphy, let's give Stephen King the pen for a season. That would have been a really great opportunity because American Horror Story is getting long in the tooth anyway. It's kind of in a place where last season was meh, in my opinion.
Last season was kind of cool. I really liked how they told it.
It was cool, but was it as entertaining as previous seasons?
Well, since they're all so different, personally, I liked the first one. I think for the nostalgic, how it was just shocking, and but
first
personally,
one was definitely the best.
I think my favorite was Hotel. Personally,
yes,
I really loved
Hotel. Was the best one. Hotel was the best one. I think the second place, in my opinion, was Coven.
Did you guys know they took inspiration from a hotel in downtown Los Angeles?
Yes, absolutely.
Hotel Cicero.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where they had that a few years ago with the footage of the woman that died in like the water tank, that drowned in the water tank.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that was a part of that.
Yeah. It was
thirsty
that
hoes
hotel.
will do anything, won't they?
Oh.
He dropped so much bombs all over our faces. We gotta have a little cleanup opportunity.
Yeah, you sound a little rapey now.
Derreck, go ahead, take it away, bro.
Furthermore,
Derreck,
the Dark
Derreck,
Tower.
I'm gonna tell. Hold on. I gotta capitalize. Here's what Derreck did to us. He just dropped the biggest load on all of us, and then like you do after Googling certain things that you like to oogle, you came to your senses after you busted it all on us. Like you just like.
I know. I got the text. I got the text talking about I'm here now. It's okay. I've already cleared my mind, so I don't really need your services any longer. Have a good day.
Absolutely.
But honestly, I really think Dark Tower could have been a really strong TV series, or at least entertaining. Like there's so much material, and I'm not gonna front as if I'm like a hardcore and I know every single thing in the Steven verse and all that stuff. I don't, but I still respect Stephen King. I've read several of his books, and his books are always like, even his short stories. I have an anthology of those right there, right presently, that I've been kind of killing time with. But I just don't want to see a Stephen King horror movie on the same screen that they're trying to make a Jeepers Creepers 3.
Woo! Did you just slide right from the box office hustle into the moment of silence?
I feel like these can be conjoined segments almost, because
So let's start with this one.
I keep seeing post and feed and all these alleged fans. I didn't realize that Jeepers Creepers had a fan base. First of all, let me go ahead and lead with that. That I didn't think a movie.
Hold on, D. I'm not going to let you sit here and just minuscule
Dorothy Mann.
I'm telling you, there is a definite following. We call ourselves peepers, okay? We're the Jeepers Creepers peepers, okay?
Are you?
Get it right or pay the price.
If you can tell me the name of the creature from Jeepers Creepers, I will believe you.
His name's Jeeper.
He is the creeper.
Honestly, I keep seeing... I guess the part that befuddles me the most is just reading these comment sections about the level of excitement that everyone's like, yeah, Jeepers Creepers 3, it's going down. I'm excited to see such actors like Meg Foster and Gina Phillips and Stan Shaw and Michael Papajohn. If you don't recognize these names, it's because nobody knows them.
Did you just conjugate Papa John as if that was a real name?
Yes, because that is his real name. That is an actor's real name that's going to be in Jeepers Creepers 3. I expletive you not. This movie needs to go straight to Hulu with commercials. And that's just that. Kind of like Annabelle.
Absolutely. And we'll get back to Annabelle.
Well, it says right here, according to actress Gina Phillips, a fourth installment is already being planned. So,
wow.
Hold on to your butts, guys.
We may have a reboot in the middle of this sequel. Oh my goodness.
This is like Alien all over again. We're going to have 4 sequels.
I want my horror movies in October, and I want at least some sort of decent level of them. That's it. I don't want movies like Annabelle coming out August 11th when kids are trying to get ready to go back to school.
I agree. My wife and I were talking about that.
Timing's everything.
Yeah, like right off of the announcement of Saw coming back and ruling October, it's almost as if the studio that made Annabelle was like, yeah, that shadowy place, we can't go there now because that's not part of our domain. Why would we want to put a horror movie near October for? Like, why would anyone plan to do that? But I think because of the idea of Stranger Things coming out, and then you got Saw coming back, Jigsaw coming out. I think that's the reason why you got Annabelle coming out August 11th, and I think that's going to take us into our
bets. Place your bets here. We got a gentleman bet right over here. Let's get it going, boys.
So, gentleman's bet for this week. We are talking about Annabelle, the second Annabelle movie. What is it called?
Annabelle Creation.
Annabelle Creation coming out. Yes,
it's a prequel. It's a sequel. That's really a prequel.
Whoa.
So Nate, give us a little rundown of where Annabelle came from.
Fuck if I know. I didn't even watch Annabelle 1. She was just a doll at the beginning of The Conjuring to me, so I'm sort of lost.
But let's talk about The Conjuring, though.
Well, The Conjuring 1 started out with this scene with the Ed and Lorraine Warren talking to, I think, 3 nurses.
Right.
At the beginning of the movie, and they were talking about how this doll was haunted, doing really creepy things, a lot of tomfoolery. Wait,
not tomfoolery.
The success of The Conjuring.
No flim-flam tomfoolery.
Spin-off. Yeah, some tomfoolery.
Good old tomfoolery.
Awesome. So, exactly. So,
but
basically,
the first Annabelle movie did make $260 million worldwide.
Absolutely.
Worldwide.
I love how, Nate said he didn't have anything to say, and as I was about to interrupt him to take it back over and save us, he comes out with this amazing stat. So apparently he did care somewhat
like,
about
I don't have
the
really
Conjuring
much
series.
to say about it, but the filming and the use of the lighting in this movie is just...
I found it both complicated
yet
delightful.
I know nothing about this film. BK, what are you talking about? But in the early opening scene of The Conjuring,
I also like to say
there
Annabelle
was a scene
actually stayed in its lane when it first came out and came out in October back in 2014. It stayed.
It really did. It really did, and I mean that was because that was the hole that the Jigsaw killer left for it.
And then
also
Insidious too. Insidious has kind of been that horror movie since they're working on a fourth one right now too.
Exactly, but The Conjuring to me was The Conjuring was the scariest. Like to me, The Conjuring was the scariest non-found footage horror film that was made to me in the last 6 to 8 years. I'm gonna say, I don't want to quite say 10. But I'd say 6 years. Is that within that window?
Yeah, Conjuring came out in
2013. Conjuring came out 2013, yeah.
Yeah, so since 2010, I'll say that. So since 2010, I think The Conjuring was the scariest non-found footage film.
And the story of those two are actually just a really good horror story anyway. I mean, these people exist.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, I think that, to me... Like Fire in the Sky from back in the the 80s and 90s.
93.
Dude, when that came out,
that movie
to me,
is still freaky. It's still
that movie was the one that set it off when it came to this actually happened. We have a person who will sit here and tell you it happened. Like, that was the one. And so,
here's the guy that said he disappeared.
Exactly. So that's, to me, I feel like that's where The Conjuring holds a special place in my heart. The Annabelle movies have been this weird spin-off that somehow they're making money on them, but in my brain I want to say nobody really wants, but I'm wrong about that because, I mean, it makes money, and I think this movie will make money too, so that's where the gentleman bet comes in, and we'll bring that music back in. So what do you guys are expecting that this thing is going to do?
See, I think Annabelle was riding high off of it. Came out a year after Conjuring.
Exactly.
Right? And it was promoted heavily on remember The Conjuring, the first 10 minutes.
And they're doing they're doing the same thing with this one too, because Conjuring 2 came out last year.
Did it?
And they're just like, Conjuring 2 came out last year, and it's all before there was. Oh my god!
Before Annabelle, there was the creation.
Yes, exactly.
Part 1 of a 6-series franchise we're now planning with Charlie Hunnam.
And before Annabelle creation, before Annabelle was created, was the Night of the Living Dummy. It's like every
don't
film.
forget parts 2 and 3 of the Night of the Living Dummy either. Man.
I'm telling you, man.
I don't really see Annabelle doing over 20. But honestly, looking at the weekend of what's coming out that weekend, let me see that. Let's see, release schedule. Oh, well, it's going to be competing with The Nut Job and The Glass Castle. So
what is The Nut Job and what is The Glass Castle?
The Nut Job's it's a sequel in a children's movie.
This is probably exactly why they picked this weekend to release
There's nothing else coming out with it, honestly. Looking at what this week, I mean, Dunkirk almost took the top spot again at 17. Dark Tower's at 19.5. Like I said, I'm really surprised that Detroit only showing at 7, especially with a 3,000 theater release. I'm a little surprised, but as I mentioned earlier, people might not necessarily want to be seeing that type of movie the first weekend in August or any time in the near future. That's one of those type of movies you want to watch with other like-minded time.
Those are like end of the year Oscar.
Those are the ones that you find out.
Movies.
This was nominated. Oh, yeah. I never heard about. Yeah, so that's one of those. But
so Derek, are you saying 20?
Oof.
Dunkirk will still be out. I bet Dunkirk will do like another 13. If Dark Tower didn't do over 20, I will be offended if Annabelle does over 20. And I don't know who that impacts if I'm offended, but it matters to me, and that's what counts.
Nate, what do you say?
Let's see. Annabelle 1 opened at fucking A, 37 million.
Yeah, man.
God damn. I don't even think it's going to be that high. Derek said 20?
Yeah, he said if it does over 20, he'll be offended.
I'm gonna go like 15.
Oh, I think we're back at the same numbers as
Valerian.
Valerian in a house of 1,000 corpses.
Yes.
And this is.
I am Cara Delevingne, and I don't appreciate you making fun of me.
I don't see people being excited about this. I could be wrong. You know.
I'm gonna say 17.
So we're all
opening
15, 17, 20.
And the bet is whoever loses.
This goes toward the bottle service bet.
No,
this
the
goes toward
person
the
who
bottle
loses
service
has to go see Annabelle too.
No, Rachel and I are actually going to go see that weekend.
Oh.
You're going to
we were already planning on it.
20 million. You're going to help pad your stats.
I said 17. You said 20.
Are you really excited? Like, are you seeing it for research purposes, for interest purposes, a little bit of both?
Well, hold on. I don't think Derek realizes for a second. He let us name him at 20. So what is your actual number?
Oh, y'all said 15 and 17. Is it crazy for me to? I'll leave it at. I don't think it's going to do over 20. I think 20.
Okay, so you think 20? Okay. All right. So that's where we at. So we're at the Valerian numbers. I just dropped mine down from 19.
I feel that
17.
honestly it'll fall between 17 and 20. But I'll stick.
That's fair. That's fair because you got to think about 17 is not a lot of money. 15 is not a lot. See, because here's the thing. Nate is saying 15. 15 is a terrible movie. 15 is a terrible movie right now. Valerian made over 17, and that's a terrible movie. Annabelle's not a terrible movie. I think because it's coming off The Conjuring. You said it. It's coming off the heels of The Conjuring. The last time it made money, it made 36. So it's got to make at least half of that. That puts it right where I'm saying. Really, technically, it puts it closer to Derek.
Well, I mean, hey, if I lose, I lose.
Well, it goes toward the bottle service bet.
That's fine.
Bottles! All right, so that's what's up. So that is the gentleman's bet for this week. We will be back in touch after August 11th for this one. And I guess it's time to wrap it up. Moment of silence. Nate, what you got for us?
Yeah, a couple things. They recently released details on the long-awaited Bumblebee spin-off movie that everybody's been clamoring for. It's going to be set in the 1980s, and John Cena has joined the cast. It is unknown whether or not he's going to star in it. But
well, even if he is, we know that we won't.
Yes! Yes!
I didn't know personally that people wanted a Bumblebee movie, and I thought after the disappointing performance of the last Transformers that, spin-offs were going to be put on hold for a little while till they could regroup and reassess. But hey,
dude, there were some scenes from the latest Transformers movie that kind of got bootlegged onto YouTube this past week, and Rachel and I found ourselves kind of looking at it, and Rachel said, "Is this an actual movie?" Like, it was the scene where Grimlock. It was the scene where Grimlock was like, Grimlock was walking through the junkyard, like eating cars and stuff, and like Mark Wahlberg was like, "Grimlock, what are you doing? Stop it!"
Literally, like he was a puppy.
Yes, talking to a life, like, I can't even say life size, something that is the size of a skyscraper, and telling it to stop it, and it actually obeying it, and throwing up stuff as if it has an actual organic stomach.
Oh, because you missed that before that scene happened, the Indian reservation chief asked Mark Wahlberg, "Where's my police car?"
Exactly.
Oh, because Grimlock ate it. He's going to throw it up later. It always upsets his tummy because of the lights.
And I told Rachel, I said, and Derek was excited to see this. I was like, this is terrible. I was like, is this really a Transformers movie? I was like, no way.
Well, we can hope to see some more of that in the Bumblebee spin-off starring John Cena.
And his name? Yes, the Bumblebee movie where he finally gets an actual voice box, maybe?
Why it's set in the 1980s, no one knows.
No one knows.
Because Stranger Things is popular? I have no idea.
Yes, because that's how Fox made it work for the X-Men. Just go back further and further.
Speaking of Fox.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
More details on the X-Men Dark Phoenix
Yes!
movie.
I totally called it! Yes, that's the next moment of silence, Fox. Yes.
That no one again asked for. Jessica Chastain has been confirmed to be playing Liliandra, leader of the Shi'ar Empire. It's going to be set in the 90s. It's going to be set in space. And it is also going to include the Starjammers, which was pretty similar to the Guardians of the Galaxy, a group of space pirates that do bad as well as good.
Tag.
They save the galaxy, yeah.
Not to be confused with Jammer Lammy.
Yeah, well, the leader of the Starjammers is this guy named Corsair? I don't know. Christopher
Is that the
Summers.
guy who?
He's the
Is that
father
the
of
guy
Cyclops.
who looks like? Oh, okay. I thought you were talking. I thought you were referring to the guy who looks like Superman but has like blue skin with a mohawk.
No, that's
Lobo.
Guardian. That's Guardian.
Oh, okay.
His name's Guardian.
Is he on the
actually.
Starjammers?
Yeah, his dad was the lead, or Cyclops' dad is the leader of this, or he's the leader and he's the father of the Summers boys, which we all, moment of silence for Alex Summers. Understood his instructions when Professor X told him to wreak havoc, and he ended up killing himself.
Yep.
Instructions unclear, kill self.
I love that. Yes, I'm so glad you got that in on the podcast.
So hey, maybe that'll be a big plot point in this movie again that no one asked for.
Or maybe the timeline reset again, and Alex Summers is back.
Hey, we can only hope. We can only hope from the the geniuses. The writer of the last couple X-Men movies is going to direct this one, so he's a first-time director.
Oh, that makes us feel so much better.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's it for me.
I think this might be the first moment of silence where we actually had a moment of silence right after talking about the ideas.
We should change it to the instant of silence.
Oh, this isn't really a moment of silence. This is a tidbit, but it could be. Flashpoint, the movie is set to debut in 2020. Wonder Woman is set to appear in Flashpoint, which is kind of good news because that goes towards the actual story. Yeah.
We did her, Aquaman, and Green Arrow? Was he in there?
I don't think so.
You don't? Okay.
No one needs Green Arrow,
cool
honestly.
No one ever does.
You need Thomas and Martha Wayne. That's...
Yes, I'm excited about that now.
I really hope
that would be amazing.
Like I said, it makes sense if Ben drops his role. It would make sense if that's where they're going. So.
Absolutely.
I think this is exactly how they're going to phase him out.
I agree.
All right, so if there's nothing else for the good of the order, I guess it's time to wrap it up. Derek, what you got this week?
Well, I want to give a specific shout out to Hale Shepard. I hit him up with some Borderlands knowledge yesterday, and he gave me some guidance to go ahead and finish the game Borderlands 2. That way I could actually become a true vault hunter and start collecting all those rewards and everything. And I watched a trailer on. So thank you, Hale. I appreciate that. I look forward to joining the hunt. And also, I plan on watching that movie. I saw a trailer for it on Netflix while I was in Insomniac last night called Message from the King. The only reason I want to watch it is just because Chadwick Boseman's in it.
Nice.
And
Black Panther.
It's him action movie, so it just looks interesting. So I'm going to watch that, see if that's any good, kind of see him outside of his...
Hey, and shout out to Chadwick Boseman, who I believe is actually the next Denzel Washington.
As I was watching the trailer, I was like, it's between him and John Boyega.
Yeah.
But Chadwick doesn't like those large roles, though, man.
I think John Boyega is the next Wesley Snipes.
Oh no!
So he's going to go to prison for tax evasion.
That's not good. Good.
I think that's where he's headed.
That's not good. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, John.
Especially when he makes comments like unqualified comments, like Game of Thrones doesn't have any black people on there, but it clearly does. So John Boyega probably doesn't actually watch Game of Thrones. So
how old is John Boyega? Like 20 something?
Not old enough.
He's still got milk behind his ears. So that's what I'm going to try to be doing this week. What about you, BK?
Well, I'm gonna go last. So let's let Nate go first.
I got big things planning.
So I didn't count as going first.
Let Nate go first.
That's exactly what you say.
Finally.
No, think about. No, I'm gonna say it one more time. See if Derek gets it. Let that Nick go first.
I got it.
There you go. Shout out to 8 Mile.
Federation. Oh, Sudi.
Yaki Sudi. All right, go ahead, Nate.
I'm going to resume my quest on the search for a cure of rickets. I'm going to also add in polio because I've realized that might be quite a problem these days, too.
Yes, absolutely.
It's an occasion to stand up and be counted.
You know.
And we're back from the... I thought we would actually get through the rest of the episode without any more of these. Nate, you got a disclaimer for us?
Polio is something that's very I'm passionate about because it's affected many people 60 years ago.
I mean, Derek, how could you leave us without a leg to stand on?
I don't know.
And we're back from the moment of silence. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. Derek has corrupted us all.
That's right. I'm just saying, he got polio, but he also got to be the longest president. Is there a correlation? Is there a conspiracy there?
Conspiracy.
Say you got polio so you can lead us through this war. All right,
it's a conspiracy.
We're at the bottom of the blender. Right? And I would also like to point out, for the good of the order, that last week when I referred to my spiritual advisor, I didn't name him. He was named by BK, and Nathan assumed the role of being my spiritual advisor when I said under my advisement of another redundant word here, and this, that, and the other, and hip-hop and more black words.
Exactly. And I guess we'll go on to he's so stupid. And what I'm up to this week is I'm going to be on Play Your Way Network. While we mention a lot of other writers on the network, occasionally Derek, Nate, or I may commandeer the rights to come in and write an article every now and again under the moniker of PYW Network. And we have an article out this week called The Rumor Rundown. Occasionally when there's 2 or 3, 3 to 5, 6 or 7, and more numbers there coming out of information because of overstimulation is a real thing. We will put out a rumor rundown of several different articles that we've scrounged the net for, and this week we had 3 stories that you should take a look at. The Karate Kid returns. Ralph Macchio is back in his career-defining role, according to the Hollywood Reporter, so you can check that out. Got a link to that. Upcoming episode of Game of Thrones leaks online. We talked about on this episode, the Vergecast, for more information there. And Bruce Willis summons his inner Charles Bronson and Eli Roth's reboot of Death Wish, and the trailer is on our website as well as on YouTube. Nate, you want to take us out, buddy?
Just don't forget William Zabka is also going to be a part of the Karate Kid reboot. Or he was also the bad guy from the first one.
Oh, okay. I got the guy that inspired Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah.
And the biggest plot hole that you can't kick in the head in a karate tournament, and he wins by a crane kick to the head.
The Cobra Kai.
Never die.
I believe that this new Karate Kid series is going to be an actual parody of the movie. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to turn out and be like he's going to end up being like this Rex Kwon Do. Yeah, I think it's going to be funny. Because they said something about the guys who are writing the script for it. Let me see.
Same guys doing the Han Solo movie.
In fact, the name of the show isn't even going to be called Karate Kid. It's going to be called Cobra Kai.
Good, because they were the true heroes of the Karate Kid.
Right? They were the clear ones that had a team of karate experts ready to
classically trained.
Dojo, would you? Yes.
Here you go. And the guys who are writing this series, Cobra Kai, are the writers of Hot Tub Time Machine, Harold and Kumar. I'm telling you, it's going to be a parody of Karate Kid. It's going to end up being hilarious.
Sounds like it's going to be a serious, dramatic piece.
That's a bold statement, BK. We got you recorded saying this is going to be hilarious.
It is, I bet. And what I love about it is I protected myself. It'll be either hilariously good or hilariously bad.
Hey,
and that's going to do it for this week of the Play Away Podcast. Exactly. That's going to do it this week for the Play Away Podcast with my co-captains, Derek.
# corrupting the system on Instagram, and you already know.
And Nate.
That's me.
And I'm your boy BK at Play Life Your Way on Instagram and Twitter. And if you want to find out about any of these stories we talked about in this episode or more, and you just can't get enough of us, hop over to PlayLifeYourWay.com. And with no further ado, if there's nothing else for the good of the order, take us out, Nate.
Peace out, Rabbit.
That's it.
Yeah. Science, bitch.
Thanks for listening to the Player Way podcast. Recorded in a single take from Los Angeles, California, Dallas, Texas, and Atlanta, Georgia, by Nathan Petersen, Derreck Lewis, and BK Jackson. Our opening theme is titled Bound by Ricky Remedy, courtesy of Elysian Records. And our closing theme is titled Coconut King Diaries by Xander, spelled Zahnder. You can find this music by both Ricky Remedy and Xander, and many more tracks on SoundCloud. And remember, no matter what choices you make or paths you follow, just make sure you do it the player way. See you next week.